I just invented a new term called age segregation. That's where you take people and you sort them by age and you treat each age group separately. This is especially true in education, where you take all the 8-year-olds and you put them in a classroom and you teach them all the same subjects. But it also applies, in a sense, to old people as well. We take all the old people, we put them in old people's homes, segregated from the rest of society. Now, the idea behind age segregation is economies of scale. If you can take 38-year-olds and put them in a classroom, they can be taught by one teacher. Instead of one teacher teaching a single student, that teacher is teaching 30, and that's a savings. You know, you're getting a lot more for your money, supposedly, under that system. The trouble with age segregation is it doesn't really take advantage of people's abilities. For example, in the case of education, you're discouraging exceptionalism. You want to treat all this 8-year-olds the same way and teach them all the same subjects, and you expect them to learn at the same rate. Well, all 8-year-olds aren't the same. There are some that excel at mathematics and are ready to work at a 12-year-old level in mathematics, but this age segregation system holds them back. It expects everyone to proceed at the same pace. And surprisingly, this is actually kind of an expensive system, an expensive way to educate people, because you still have to pay a teacher. If you're going to take one student and teach one student, well, you might get a volunteer to do that, but you're not going to get a volunteer to teach 30 children. You have to pay that person. And likewise, when you're taking care of old people, if you were taking care of just your grandma, you wouldn't expect to be paid for that. But if you're in a building with 100 grandmas, you're not going to go into that building unless someone pays you. So in a world where there's a vanishing number of workers, where there are a limited number of teachers and caregivers, this age segregation system is kind of an albatross. It doesn't really work very well. The alternative to age segregation is what I call age integration, where you take people of all ages and you house them under one roof for living and for education. Surprisingly, this is the way families used to work in the old days. Back before the Industrial Revolution, you used to have 3 or 4 generations living under one house. Grandma lived in the same house as the kids lived in, and grandma took part in the raising of the children. And now under our age segregation system, grandma lives someplace else. Grandma doesn't live with the family anymore. And this is a huge waste of resources. So you've got old people in an old people's home, and they can't do certain things. They can't lift heavy objects. Well, youth are very good at lifting heavy objects. Youth can do a lot of the things that professional staff are now doing at old age homes. So if you throw youth together with the old people, you're going to get a lot more done. You're going to get a lot more done cheaply. You have an economy of scale there, a different kind of economy of scale where people are serving each other's needs. Old people have certain needs, certain physical needs that they're having difficulty providing, and young people have certain intellectual needs that old people can fulfill. So by putting old people in old folks' homes and young people in schools, you're wasting a lot of resources. So I propose in some utopian future society where we have a ton of old people, and we're trying desperately to make a lot of young people to try to sustain our civilization, our culture. Well, maybe the best way to do that is to throw the young people in together with the old people, make them live in the same place. Don't let the old people retire. They don't deserve retirement. They don't deserve just to sit around all day and watch television. They need to be involved in the family for as long as they can possibly do that. So I talked in a previous video about a modular family, a family that has between 9 and 18 kids living on one roof. Well, let's take the old people and put them under the same roof. Let's have 9 to 18 kids and maybe as many old people living in the same place, because For a while, we're going to have a huge number of old people. Those old people are going to make excellent parents. If they're in their older years where they can't work a conventional job, well, they've got a lot of time to dote on in today's society, on their grandchildren. So let's take advantage of that. Let's, by integrating all of the ages under one roof, you're getting a lot more done, a lot more efficiently. You're solving a lot of problems at once. So sooner or later, we got to give that a try. I'm in an ammunition bunker in an ancient fort guarding the harbor, guarding the river into Riga, Latvia. So this was a strategic location at one point. I think I'll go for a walk.